Hello everyone, I'm Shadashirao and welcome to Sada Learning Hub. Today's session we are going to learn the most important JSP interview questions. See guys, in this video I'm going to cover the most important JSP interview questions, 15 JSP interview questions. See here, the first question is, what are filters? See, what is the filters and how it is? A JSP filters are a Java classes that can be used in the JSP programming for the two purposes. The first one is to interpret the request from a client before they access the resources at backend. The second one is to manipulate the response from the server before they are sending back to the client. See here, the JSP filters are the Java classes, nothing but Java classes that can be used in the JSP programming for the two purposes. The first one is to intercept the request from the client before they access the resources at the backend. Before accessing the resources, we are interpreting, we are inspecting that request. What is the request? Who is sending the request? And all those things we are intercept before accessing any resources in the backend. The second purpose is to manipulate the response from the server before they are sending back to the client. Whenever you are receiving the request, we need to send the response. Before the sending the response, you are checking what response we are going to sending. Is it correct response or not? And all those things. The next question is, how do you define the filters? Anyways, we are knowing what is the filter and where we are using the filters. After that, we need to know how to define the filters. Then only we need to then only it's possible to intercept, intercept the request, and also it's possible to manipulate the response. Without defining the filters, we can't do anything. Now, the question is how to define filters. The filters are defined in the deployment descriptor file. See here, deployment descriptor file means web.xml file, and then map to the either a servlets or a JSP names or a URL patterns in your application deployment descriptors. When the JSP container starts up your web application, it creates an instance of each filter that you have declared in the deployment descriptors. The filters executes the in the order that they are declared in the deployment descriptors. See here, you are creating the JSP. In the JSP filters is nothing but a Java classes. It may be a servlets or a Java classes, or it may be a JSPs. After creating our filters, we need to configure all those filters into a deployment descriptor. See here, deployment descriptor is nothing but a web.xml file. This is where to go to define our filters. The next question is, what is cookies? A cookies are the text files stored onto the client computers and they are kept for various information tracking purposes. The cookies is nothing but the text file. It is stored at the client side for tracking the various informations. That is about cookies. You are knowing about the cookie. Cookie means you are saying that cookie is a text file. It is stored into the client side and it is used to track the information. But how to create the cookie and how to work the cookies? How cookies going to work? Cookies are usually set in an HTTP header. If the browser is configured to store the cookies, it will then keep this information until the expiry date. If the user points to the browser at any page that matches the path and domain of the cookies, it will be resend the cookies to the server. See here, cookies are usually set in an HTTP header. Whenever you are setting an HTTP header, if the browser is configured to store the cookies, definitely your browser must and should store the cookies. Otherwise, the cookies are not going to store into your browser. Definitely, we need to store cookies into your browser. Then only it will keep the information until its expiry date. If the user points to the browser at any page that matches the path and the domain of the cookies, it will be resend that cookies to the server. This is the way to cookies is going to work. The next question is, how do you set the cookies into your JSP page? Everything is fine. You are knowing about the what is the cookie and how cookies are going to work. But now your turn is, how do you set the cookies into your JSP page? Setting the cookies with the JSP involves in the three steps. We need to follow the three steps to set our cookies into the JSP. Creating a cookie object. First, you call the cookie constructor with a cookie name and the cookie value, both are which are a string. After that, we need to set the maximum age of your cookie. After that, sending the cookies into the HTTP response header. See here, if you want to create a cookie into your JSP page, first we need to create the cookie. After that, we need to set the maximum age of your cookie. How much age you want to set? We need to set the age of that cookie. After that, finally, we need to send that cookie into your HTTP response header. These are the three steps we need to follow to set cookies into your JSP page. The next question is how to read the cookies with the JSP. See here, you are knowing what is the cookies and how the cookies is going to work and how to create the cookie. Everything is fine. Now, this question is how to read the cookies by using the JSP page in the JSP page. To read the cookies, we need to create any array of java x.servlet.http.cookie object. Before retrieving the cookie, first of all, we need to create an cookie object by calling the getCookies method of HTTP servlet request. In the HTTP servlet request, one method is available, that is method is called getCookies method. That getCookies method, it returns the array of cookies. Then we can iterate that array of the cookies and get the name and value of that particular whatever the cookies you want. Finally, if you want to get the cookies into your JSP page, we can call the method getCookies. It is bounded with the HTTP request object. The getCookies method returns the array of cookies objects. We can iterate the array of cookies and we can get each and every cookie. The next question is how to delete cookies with the JSP page. See here, we are knowing about what is the cookie and how cookies is going to work. The next, how to create the cookie, and next, how to access the cookie. Everything is fine. Now this time, how to delete the cookie with the JSP page. If you want to delete the cookie, it is very simple. If you want to delete the cookie, then you can simply need three steps. First, we need to read existing cookie. If you see the request contains cookies are available. First, we need to read which cookie we want to delete. Just set the cookie age as 0. Set max age as 0. After that, immediately add that cookie into the HTTP response header object. Header. See here, it is very simple to delete the cookie. First, which cookie you want to delete? First, read that cookie. The second point is set the max is as 0. The third point is and send that cookie to HTTP response header. These are the three steps to delete the cookies with the into your JSP page. The next question is how is the session management done in JSP? See here, session management. If you want to manage your sessions in a JSP page, there is a four possible ways are available. We are already I discussed in the what about the session. Session is nothing but to stay there to save the information. Example shopping cart. If you want to manage your session, the JSP is providing the four possible ways. The first way is by using the cookies. If you are using the cookies, we can manage your session management. A web server can assign a unique session ID as a cookie to each web client, and for subsequent requests from the client, they can be recognized using the received cookies. Just we can use the cookies, we can manage our session. The next one is hidden form fields. This is the another way to manage our sessions. A web servers can send a hidden HTML from a field along with the unique session ID. Like input type is equal to hidden. These are not displayed into your front end view. We can use an hidden form fields to manage your sessions. This implies that when our form is submitted, the specified names of the values will be getting included get and post methods also. Whatever the hidden fields you are using, whenever you are doing getting and posting, these hidden fields also going to include into your hidden form fields. The next way is URL rewriting. If you are using the URL rewriting, it is also possible to manage your sessions. If the URL rewriting is some extra information is added to end of each URL to identified by the session. This URL rewriting can be useful where the cookies are disabled. Means all browsers are not, some people are not interested to enable the cookies. In that situation, the session management is going to fail. That situation, URL rewriting is going to work. We can use the URL rewriting. If the cookies are disabled in the server, it's not at all a problem. The URL rewriting is some extra information is added onto the end of the each URL that identifies the session. This URL rewriting can be useful where the cookies is disabled. The fourth way is the session object. If we see a JSP makes use a servlet providing a HTTP session interface which is providing a way to identify a user across a more than one page requests or visit to a website, and it stores the informations about the user. If you see HTTP sessions, here there is no problem. If you are using the cookies, if the end user is disable the cookies is going to fail. If you are using HTTP form fields along with the request, HTTP form fields also going to send. It's a security issues. If you use the URL rewriting, it's okay fine. But coming to the HTTP session objects, it is a very familiar, it is the most useful for session management. A JSP makes use of the HTTP. A JSP makes use of the HTTP. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the HTTP session object. A JSP makes use of the sessions for providing by the servlets interface. If you see servlet providing an HTTP session interface which provides a way to identify a user across a more than one page requests or visits to a website, and it stores the informations about that user. These are the four ways to handle the session management. The next question is, how can you delete a session data? If you want to delete the session data, there is several options are available. The first one is remove a particular attribute. Whenever you are adding a data into a session object, just we can remove that particular attribute. We can call the public void remove attribute method to delete the value associated with that particular key. Session object means we are saving some data into that particular session object. Key value pair format. If you want to delete the information from the session object, use that remove attribute method. The remove attribute method takes a key name, it deletes the that particular attribute from the session. The second possible way is delete the whole session object. If you are using the invalidate method, the invalidate method is going to delete whole session object. The next one is setting the session timeout. You can call the public void set max active interval method. Whenever you are setting the max active interval method, sometime it wait for that particular time. After that, it is going to invalidate your cookies, invalidate your sessions. The third one is log the user out. The servers that supports the servlet 2.4, you can call the logout to log the client out the web servers, and it invalidate all the sessions belonging to that particular user. It is also possible. The fifth way to delete the session data by using the web.xml configurations. If you are using a Tomcat apart from the above methods, discussed methods, you can configure the session timeout in the web.xml. It is also possible to do. See here, finally, if you want to delete the session, there is a five possible ways are available. The first way is remove a particular attribute or delete the whole session. The third way possible way is setting the session timeout, and fourth way is log the user out, and fifth way is vec.xml configuration. The next question is, how can you upload a file using the JSP? To upload a single file, you should use a single input tag and attribute to type as a file. To allow the multiple uploads, include the more than one input tag with a different values from the name attribute. This is the old mechanism. Now, if you want to use multipath to insert the multiple values, multiple files. If you want to insert the simple file, you can use the input type is equal to file. The next question is, where will be the uploaded files stored? You can hard code this your program, or this directory name could also be added using an external configuration such as a context param element in the web.xml file. Wherever you want to store, just we can hard code it into your application. It is a, if you're hard coding into your application, you can use into your deployment descriptor file by using the context param element. You can configure where the uploaded files going to store. The next question is, what is the JSP page redirection? Page redirection is generally used when a document moves to a new location and we need to send the client to this new location, or may because load balancing or simple randomization. C means redirection. The name meaning itself is saying directing to some other place. Means the resources are locating to the some other places. You can use the JSP page redirection to locate your new place. Or the redirection you can use it in load balancing or simple randomizations. The next question is, what is the difference between JSP colon forward page and response dot send redirection? If you see, in both cases are same. Forward page is also we are moving from one location to another place, and the response dot send redirection also we are moving one place to the another place. But some differences are available. The JSP colon forward element forward the request object containing the client request information from one JSP file to another JSP file. Whenever if you are using the JSP colon forward, automatically request object is also going to send from one JSP to another JSP. Means one JSP to the another resource. Whatever you are using, it may be JSP or it may be a HTML or it may be a servlet. The target file can be a HTML file or another JSP file or a servlet as long as it is a same application context as forwarding in the JSP file. But coming to the send redirect, sends the HTTP temporary redirect response to the browser. The browser creates a new request to given to redirect the page. See here, a small difference. A forward means we are forwarding request and response object along with the forward page. But send redirect means we are redirecting your page. You are creating a new request and response objects. The next question is, what is the hit count for the web page? A hit count tells you about a number of visits of a particular page of your website. Hit count. Hit count means how many times you are going to visit your application page. Sorry. The hit count tells you about the number of visits to a particular page of your website. The final question is, how do you implement hit counter in JSP? See here, if you want to check how many times my page is going to hitting. In that situation, to implement the hit count, you can make sure of application implicit objects or associated methods get attribute and set attributes. These objects are representation of a JSP page through its entire life cycle. This object is created when a JSP page is initialized and it will be removed when the JSP page is removed or destroyed method. See here, to implement the hit count, you can make your application implicit objects. You can use your application implicit object associated with the get attribute method and set attribute method. These objects are representing on one JSP page through entire life cycle. These objects are created whenever your JSP application is initialization. These objects are going to destroyed whenever your application is going to destroyed. Whenever your application JSP page is going to destroyed. We can implement by using these implicit objects. In my next video, I am going to cover about next 15 questions. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video.
Thank you so much watching this video. Hope this lesson helpful to you. Keep watching our lessons. Keep writing to us. Do not forget subscribe our channel Learning Hub because we have many sessions that would help you to develop our skills and I will be back soon. Till then you take care. Bye bye.